Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am bringing you round 11 of my TBR game rotating decks, where I have Uno cards help me pick my prompts to create my monthly TBR. So January I would say it was a bit of a success. I do still have 1 week and a couple days before the month is over. I am filming this a bit early, so I just want to let you know that before I go into telling you how I've done on my prompts for January. So I picked a 0, which meant that I could just read any book that I wanted to for that card. I didn't have to pull a prompt, in other words. So for that one, I had decided to read Percy Jackson and the Olympians #1, which is the Lightning Thief. As I had mentioned before, my mom, my daughter, and I are doing a family read of this series, so I did finish this one. The next, or another prompt I pulled, because I don't know in which order I pulled these, but another prompt that I pulled was In Death. So that just meant that I needed to read a book from the In Death series by J.D. Robb. So I had already read book 1, and so I was supposed to read Glory in Death, which is book 2. I did actually finish this last night, so that one is done. And then my last prompt was book bought in 2020. And this one I haven't actually completed yet. I had pulled a few things that I thought I'd be interested in reading of the things I had bought in 2020 and shared those with you in my TBR video, but I'm kind of not feeling those titles at the moment. I did go back through the list and see what else I had purchased in 2020, and there are a couple other things that are interesting to me or calling to me right now, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out the things that I am going to read for this prompt. And like I said, I do have a week and a couple days before the month is over, so I am for sure going to finish this one, and so I will not be taking a punishment prompt for this round. Whew. So there are a few things that I do want to participate in February, and so one of those things being Flashback February Reads, which is a project that I had started for myself a couple years ago. Basically, in February, I try to focus my reading on books that I enjoyed when I was growing up. And so largely that means my collection of Christopher Pike and R.L. Stine books, as well as some other authors that I enjoyed, like Diane Ho, who wrote the Nightmare Hall series, Lois Duncan, Caroline B. Cooney, and authors like that. So authors that I pretty much enjoyed in my preteens, early teen years. And so I do want to make sure that I read a lot of those books in February. My friends, the Bookish Bryants, are also hosting a readathon in February called Fast Fantasy Reads. And basically, this is just like what they did for the sci-fi readathon they hosted in November. So basically, we want to be reading fantasy books that are less than 250 pages. So I will have a couple of selections pulled for that. And I also have my In Real Life Manga Club selections, which I will need to read for my manga club meeting. And for those, I talk about those selections on my channel under the Monochrome Manga Club title. So if you're ever interested in hearing my thoughts on any of the manga that we are reading for my In Real Life Manga Club meetings, definitely check out those videos. So I think that's enough rambling on. Let's get to the gameplay for this month. Or next month. And I will be back with you after to share with you what I have pulled for those prompts, as well as everything else I will be reading for the projects I mentioned. So I'll flip over to that right now. So here is the setup for February's round of rotating decks. As you can see, we are still using the Mattel Toys deck. If we do not receive a wild card on this playthrough, we will be changing out the deck for March. So as per usual, I have already shuffled the deck, but I will have my daughter cut the deck so that you know that I don't know what is on the top of the deck. Okay, the deck has been cut, and let me just turn this around. So let's see what the cards have in store for us for February. So I will be picking 3 cards as per usual. Our first prompt will be a yellow 7. This is some kind of duck toy. And the prompt is manga 3+ volumes. So that means I have to read 3 or more volumes of manga in the month. That's pretty doable, if I can say so myself. Our next prompt will be a skip card. Oh, how lovely. My daughter loves me so much. So I do not have to read a book for this prompt, for this card. Words today. Words are escaping me. And our final card will be a blue 4. So no wilds this time around. We will be switching out the card deck in March. Let's see what the prompt will be. And the prompt is mystery thriller, not a cozy. So that I think is pretty doable as well. So let me go ahead and pull some books for these prompts. Not too bad considering the projects that I am planning to work on for February. So this is really great. So yeah, let me go ahead and pull the books for these prompts, and I will be back with you in a bit to show you what I've got. Okay, so some interesting gameplay. Again, I really enjoy seeing what prompts I get every month. It's always a surprise, and I'm finding that I am getting more like prompts that I have gotten previously, which is fine because a lot of the general prompts are things that I have a lot of things to pull from, so that's great. And yeah, I've got to skip again, so that's excellent, especially for a month where I have a lot of projects that I really want to focus on. So yeah, let's get into the books that I pulled for the prompts first, and then we'll move on to all of the other projects I have planned for February. So first off, I got a yellow 7. Really enjoying that we're getting some yellow prompts this year, because for the good portion of the time that I was doing my TBR game, we weren't getting any yellow prompts, so it's really great that we've had several recently. And so for this prompt, for this card, the prompt was manga 3+ volumes, which basically means that I have to read 3 or more volumes of manga. It doesn't matter if it's from the same series, it can be from different series. And I could have used my manga club selections, but I decided not to. I decided to pick a series that I have on my priority reads list for this year. I believe by time this video goes up, that list is already posted to my channel. And so I will be reading 4 volumes of Millennium Snow by Bisco Hattori. This is complete in 4 volumes, so I will start and finish a series by reading this, so that's great. This one follows a girl who has heart problems, and she meets a vampire who doesn't like partaking blood from humans and refuses to make the traditional partnership with a human whose life-giving blood would keep them both alive for 1,000 years. And so that is basically all I need to know about this series. I have read Bisco Hattori's Oran High School Host Club in its entirety. We actually read it for Manga Club. And it's an anime adaptation that I have watched a few times and really enjoy. And so I'm really looking forward to this series. It's been one that has been on my radar for a very, very long time, and I am excited to finally get to it. Next up, we got that glorious skip card, so that is wonderful. I don't need to read anything for that particular one, especially with a plate full of projects that I have planned. So our next card was a blue 4, and this looks like an astronaut toy. And for this one, the prompt was mystery thriller, not a cozy. And I specifically did that one because I do read a lot of cozy mysteries and kind of forget about the other mysteries that I do enjoy. And so for this one, I will be reading Velocity by Alan Jacobson. This is the third book in the Karen Vale mystery series. This series is about Karen Vale, who is an FBI profiler, and it's much more of a grittier mystery series. And it's been a series that I have neglected to continue for, I think, 2 years now. I had read the first 2 books in separate March Mystery Madness rounds, and I didn't read this one for last year's round. Maybe it was only 1 year that I had neglected it. It's been a while though, and at the end of the second volume or second book, I always say volume because I'm always thinking in manga. At the end of the second book, there was actually a cliffhanger, and I don't know why I just never picked up the third one, because I was like, oh my gosh, I need to find out what happens, and here we are. How long later? And I haven't read it yet. So I will be continuing this series. It is a series that I have on my list of series I'd like to read from in 2022, which is great. I will be borrowing a ebook copy from my library, I believe through Hoopla. Hoopla has that one available, and so I'm really looking forward to getting into that one. So that will take care of all of the prompts that I pulled for my Rotating Decks TBR game. Now let's get into all of the other books that I have planned to read for the month. So first off, let's talk about my family read of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So we will be continuing our read with The Sea of Monsters, which is book 2. I really enjoyed revisiting this series in January, and so I'm really looking forward to continuing to the second one. This one is rather short compared to The Lightning Thief, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. This is our newer collection of this book, and it's the first time we're actually reading through this particular edition, and so yes, I'm really looking forward to it. Next up, I have our Monochrome Manga Club selections, or my In Real Life Manga Club selections. And so we will be reading Volume 1 of Love and Heart by Chitose Kaido. This one is published by Yen Press, rated teen. This is about a girl who comes home after having a messy breakup and finds that she has a male roommate who claims he is a childhood friend who used to live next door. Except from what she can remember, the family that lived next door all committed suicide. So that is this one. I thought it would be really great to read with the series reads that we have, as well as this next selection, which is Can't Stop Cursing You, Volume 1. This is by Kensuke Koba, original story by Kensuke Koba, art by Natsuko Uruma. This one is also published by Yen Press, rated older teen. This one follows a guy who gets caught up in a deadly game where he has 30 days to curse kill 30 people or meet a fate worse than death, and then he comes up against a curse breaker who is trying to find him but is hoping not to fall prey to one of those curses. And so I am really looking forward to this one, especially because it's being compared a lot to Death Note. I've heard a couple people compare it to Death Note, and even when I had read the summary, it sounded kind of similar to Death Note. We are reading Death Note as our series read for the Monochrome Manga Club. And so we read volumes 1 and 2, or the first volume of the Black edition. So we will be reading volumes 3 and 4, or the second volume of the Black edition for February. I have the all-in-one edition, and it's very, very heavy, so that's what this is. And so I'm really looking forward to continuing. I hadn't actually read the manga of this series, but I have watched the anime in its entirety, and so I'm looking forward to continuing. My daughter reminded me that it's been a very, very long time, many, many years, more than I had thought, since we've watched the anime, but I do remember quite a bit of it, and so yes, really enjoying revisiting that one. And then we will also be continuing our second series read, because our members wanted to read 2 different series at the same time. We will be continuing with A Silent Voice. This one is by Yoshitoki Oima, published by Kodansha Rated Teen. Forgot to tell you that Death Note is published by Viz, rated older teen. But yes, we will be reading volumes 3 and 4 of A Silent Voice, and this one follows a bully and a deaf girl, and how their relationship kind of changes when they get older, I guess is the best way to explain it. This, for me, is not a series to enjoy. It's a series kind of to learn from. There are lessons to learn in this series, but I know already that this is not going to be a series that I will want to reread in the future after I've finished, just because there are very hard topics in here, and a lot of the things in here are not enjoyable to experience. And so, yes, I'm looking forward to seeing what kinds of things weren't portrayed in the adaptation, because I have seen the movie adaptation, so I kind of know how this story goes, but there has been a couple of surprising things that were not included in the adaptation already in the first 2 volumes, and so those are the kinds of things that keep my interest in stories where I've already seen the adaptation. And so, yes, we did spend a lot of time talking about this series at our club meeting, and so we will be continuing with that one. I will not say I am looking forward to continuing that one, just because, like I said, there are a lot of hard things that are experienced in that series. So I mentioned to you that one of the projects I will be focusing on in February is my Flashback February Reads project, where I want to focus on books that I enjoyed when I was younger. And so, as an example of some of the things that I would like to read, is R.L. Stine's Broken Hearts. This is a Fear Street super chiller. It says Valentine's Day can be killer. I thought this one would definitely be appropriate considering the month. And yes, I'm looking forward to reading this one. I believe I did read this one when I was growing up, but I don't remember anything about it. It says roses are red, corpses are blue. On Valentine's Day, you'll die too. And so, yes, I've been really enjoying revisiting some of the things that I read when I was younger. And yeah, it's definitely been a long time since I've read this one. This is my original copy from when I was younger. And so I will be reading this one, as well as hopefully several others from my collection for my Flashback February Reads project. If you'd like to see what I'm reading for that project, you can follow the hashtag Flashback Feb Reads. At least I think that's what I've been using. If it's not, I'll correct it down here. But yes, if you want to see what else I'll be reading for that project, definitely follow that hashtag. And then for my friends, the Bookish Bryants, who are hosting February Fantasy Stories. I think I might have said that one wrong in the beginning. It's February Fantasy Stories. I will be reading 2 books from the Simon R. Green Nightside series. This one is Something from the Nightside, which is the first book in the series, and then I also have Agents of Light and Darkness, which is book 2. These are kind of fantasy mystery books, It follows a guy who was born in the night side, and it says the night side is a square mile of hell in the middle of the city where it's always 3 a.m., where you can walk beside myths and drink with monsters, where nothing is what it seems and everything is possible. He left the night side a long time ago. His specialty is kind of like finding things, is what I'm gathering. And a woman asks him to help find her daughter, and it turns out her daughter is in the night side. And so he has to go back to where he was born and find her. And so, yes, I picked these two books up at a book sale, library book sale. Yes, library book sale, because it's got the stickers on the side. And I'm looking forward to checking this one out. They're both under 250 pages, which qualifies for the February Fantasy Reads guidelines. As they did in November, each week is themed, but I am not going to be reading these for any of the particular weeks. I know this one does qualify for one of the themes though, so I will be reading both of these hopefully sometime during the month of February to support the Bookish Bryants. And so yes, I'm looking forward to reading that series. I have read from Simon R. Green in the past. It was one of his ghost detective series. It was a very, very long time ago, and I didn't really grasp the story because at the time that I had picked it up, I was very distracted and I couldn't really focus on things. But it's always been a series that I wanted to go back and revisit because I love ghostly detective type of stories, and I just haven't. I would have gone back to that one for this, except the book is over 250 pages. And so this particular series, the first two books are not, so fits perfectly. Then I would like to try to keep up with the Fly Along, which is being hosted by Shae over at ShaeGeeksOut. I have not yet read the first 5 volumes for that, which should be done by the end of January. Like I said, I do have over a week to continue. But in February, I believe that's another 5 volumes. I think 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 volumes. I have 5 volumes here. And so it's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I am not sure if it's going to be 10 or 9 volumes that we are up to in February, but I would like to keep up with that. I have already read those, so those would be rereads for me anyway. But yes, I would like to get to that. And I would also like to get back to our buddy read of Bleach. And so I've been buddy reading this with my daughter. We're doing a read a watch along. And so right now we are watching the Bount arc, which is not actually in the manga. So we do have a bit of anime to get to before we're caught up with where we are in the manga. But this is the 8th omnibus. This is a 3-in-1 edition. So there's volumes 22, 23, and 24. You can see from the cover that we are starting the Arrancar arc. And so I am really looking forward to it. This is Grimjow. And I love the color. And so, yes, we would like to get back to this because it is a very, very long series. And we need to continue it if we're going to ever finish in the near future. Or at least I'd like to hopefully get this one done maybe this year. We will see. But this is a lot of reading that I'm going to try to get through in February. This doesn't even include all of the things that I want to read for my Flashback February Reads project. And we have another set of Olympics coming up. So I am planning on taking vacation during that, but since Olympics is a lot of watching, don't think there's going to be a lot of reading during those 2 weeks. So we'll see how I get on with this nice stack. You can't see it because I did separate these stacks. But if I stack everything together, not including the book that I have to borrow from the library, this is what it looks like for everything that I've shown you. And so, yeah, lots of reading. I will be enjoying the Olympics, as I said, and hopefully getting to all of this. So let me know down in the comments below what you will be reading for February. Are you participating in any read-alongs or any readathons? Will you be participating in February Fantasy Reads? Let me know down in the comments below. If nothing else and you would just like to let me know that you are here, if you could like this video and leave me a broken heart emoji or a heart emoji. I'm not sure if there's a broken heart emoji, but if there's a broken heart emoji, definitely leave one for broken hearts down in the comments below. That would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.